Hello, everyone. Today is June 24th. I'm going to kind of read the devotional a little bit quickly because there's a few things that I wanted to talk about and I didn't want it to go too long. So, the devotional for today says, "Hold my hand and trust. So long as you are conscious of my presence with you, all is well. It is virtually impossible to stumble while walking in the light with me. I designed you to enjoy me above all else. You'll find the deepest fulfillment of your heart in me alone. Fearful, anxious thoughts melt away in the light of my presence. When you turn away from me, you are vulnerable to the darkness that is always at work in the world. Don't be surprised by how easily you sin when you forget to cling to my hand. In the world, dependency is seen as immaturity, but in my kingdom, dependence on me is a prime measure of maturity." And the verses for today are Isaiah 41 verse 10 says, "So do not fear, for I am with you. Do not be dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you and help you. I will uphold you with my righteous right hand." And Psalm 62, 5 and 6 says, "Find rest, O my soul, in God alone. My hope comes from him. He alone is my rock and my salvation. He is my fortress. I will not be shaken." Ooh, that rhymes. So, we know that we're designed to enjoy God above all else. And if anything, it brings you more joy to God than you need. If anything brings you more joy than God does, then you need to reevaluate your heart and mind. Money's not greater than God. People are not greater than God. Your job, and the people that even includes your family. So if God does not come first, your relationships with your family might not be as strong. They might be shaken. Your relationship with your spouse might be failing. And even if it's not failing, is it really at its prime? So also, it helps you with parenting. If you have that God-like mindset, it will help you with parenting your children so you're not as angry or frustrated if they do things, and you'll have a little bit more patience. What I wrote in here is, you know how parents say that I gave you life and I can take it away? The same thing goes for God. God can too. If he feels like something has taken his place in your life, and that it's really gotten out of hand, then he can remove that thing from your life so that you spend your time with him and you can no longer have all your attention drawn towards this one thing. That might be your job. That might be, whatever material thing that you might have might break. Like it says in here, in the world, dependency is seen as being immature, but to God, it's prime maturity. I pointed that out because it is true. People. There's that song, INDEPENDENT. Do you know what that means? So people are all about being independent. They want to be prideful and show others that they've accomplished something, that they've achieved these goals by themselves. Look, started from the bottom, now we're here. There's all these songs, and I'm sorry if they're explicit songs, but these are real songs that your kids are listening to and people are listening to, and it's literally like something that gets caught in your head. And if you have little lyrics caught in your head all the time, you start to think like, man, I really did start from the bottom and look at me now. But it wasn't you who did it. It was God who guided you to this place in your life. So I wanted to point out Job 121. This verse says, "Naked I came from my mother's womb, and naked I shall return. The Lord gave, and the Lord has taken away. Blessed be the name of the Lord." So no matter what goes on in your life, no matter what you have, whatever goals you achieve, in 2 seconds they could be destroyed. God has reasons for what he does and why he does them. We might not always understand, but don't take life for granted, because tomorrow is not promised. And then 1 Samuel, I put it on the phone because I started writing some verses that I wanted to read, but then I was like, man, all this other stuff is pretty good too. So starting at verse 2, 1 Samuel 2 verse 2 says, "Nothing and no one is holy like God, no rock, mountain like our God. Don't dare talk pretentiously, not a word of boasting ever, for God knows what's going on. He takes the measure of everything that happens. The weapons of the strong are smashed to pieces, while the weak are infused with fresh strength. The well-fed are out begging in the streets for crust, while the hungry are getting second helpings. The barren woman has a house full of children, while the mother of many is bereft. I think it's bereft. God brings death and God brings life. Brings down to the grave and raises up. God brings poverty and God brings wealth. He lowers, he also lifts up. He puts poor people on their feet again. He rekindles burned out lives with fresh hope, restoring dignity and respect to their lives, a place in the sun. For the very structures of the earth are God's. He has laid out his operations on a firm foundation. He protectively cares for his faithful friends step by step, but leaves the wicked to stumble in the dark. No one makes it in this life by sheer muscle. God's enemies will be blasted out of the sky, crashed in a heap and burned. God will set things right all over the earth. He'll give strength to his king. He'll set his anointed on top of the world. So this is basically saying, like, any obstacles that you face, anything that you run into while being a child of God, God will take you from the back of the line and place you to the front. If you've been living poorly, he will give you, the riches that he's had stored away in heaven. He can do anything wonderful for your life. So this was the Message version. I actually have my daughter read the Message version of the Bible because I believe it's easier for a girl who's 11 years old to understand. So if it didn't quite match your Bible, that's why. If you want to read like the regular version, I usually read like the New Living Translation or the New International Version, NIV. So these are the things that I wanted to mention to you. So the good part of this is, can you grab him, Reagan?
He just wants some goldfish. He opened the box.
Reagan, I'm still doing my devotional. I just asked you to grab him. I didn't ask about goldfish. So what I wanted to say was, back in February, there was this letter that we got in the mail to take a survey or whatever, and you'll get a $100 Visa gift card. So I asked Oz, I was like, are you going to take this survey? If not, I'll just do it myself and I'll get the gift card. And he was like, no, you can have the gift card. He's like, I would never do stuff like that. So I'm like, oh, okay. So I do the survey and I call the people. I'm like, hey, if I do the survey but I don't buy your product, will I still get the $100 gift card? Like, that's the first thing that I answered the phone and said. And they're like, oh, yes, that's totally fine. Like, I just need to explain like one thing to you about, being a homeowner or whatever. And I'm like, okay, cool. So it took like 2 seconds. He's like, yeah, but I'm just going to give you the card anyways. And I'm like, okay. So he didn't, this man over the phone didn't like rush me or make me feel like I needed to purchase anything. And he kind of was like, yeah, I told him that someone had already spoke to me about it anyways from another company. He's like, yes, you basically already know. And he was totally chill. And he was like, so in a few days, the card will be loaded with your $100. And I was like, oh, okay. So that was back in February. Now I'm like paying bills and stuff, and I'm like dwindling down with my money. And I'm like, man, I'm kind of like running out of money. I don't know what to do, God. And I paid another bill last night. And I'm like, gosh, it just seems like my numbers are dropping lower and lower in my bank account. So I'm like, oh, I totally forgot I had this $100 gift card, but maybe I already used it going grocery shopping. I was like, man, it's probably only like $2 on this thing. So I went on the website. My hair is like, me. I went on the website and I'm like trying to check the balance of this thing. And I look at it and it says $425. And I was like squinting, and then I'm like looking, and I'm like, is this right? And it's like, yeah, like on February it said $425 was deposited in the card, not $100. So I was like, oh my God, you are so good. Thank you. Because I'm going to visit my family for the first like 2 weeks of August, right after my birthday in July. So July 27th is my birthday. Next day I'm going to see my family, and I'm like, man, I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know how I'm going to have the money to like, not even like go out and do a bunch of stuff, like literally just to like eat or, get around, or if my family wants to go bowling or something, just like random little things to pay for, nothing extravagant. So I'm like, oh my God. And then I look and I'm like, this can't be true, and I look at my card again and I match up the last 4 digits and I'm like, ooh, it is my card. Like this doesn't happen, so God is the only answer for why this happened to me. He's the only reason why my supposed to be my measly little $100 gift card that I got for free somewhere just for making a phone call, God made it 3 times more plus an extra $25. So instead of $100, it's $425. You guys, things like this really do happen. When you have faith and you just believe in God, and he says, if you ask, then you shall receive. Just like we ask our parents, like, hey Dad, hey Mom, can I have like $20? Do you mind? Or if they're like, oh, here's some money, go get yourself something to eat for lunch or whatever. Like, this is my Heavenly Father being like, hey girl, I know how you've been feeling lately. Why don't you go get your nails done, sweetheart? Why don't you go get some extra groceries for your kids? Why don't you go save some of that money for your trip to Virginia? You know, you're gonna have to buy some things when you're waiting in the airport of the layover. And I'm like, ooh, I'm so excited. So I just wanted to share that with you guys because when you feel down and alone, he really does provide. This has been going on since I was 18. I moved out of the house. And anytime I was low right before rent, I was never late on rent. If I was a few $100s short, he always made a way for me to make that money. It's not always the best way, but you know, I know better now. So selling things, you know, from your house or getting rid of things that you don't want to get rid of, it's not always like, it doesn't always feel best for you, but knowing that it's paying for your shelter and stuff like that, you kind of are like, oh, well, it's okay. I'll get something better in the future. So this just goes to show that God always replaces what you've lost or gives back what was stolen. So just know that he's taking care of you. With God, nothing is impossible. This was not a glitch for someone to just randomly press a wrong digit. They legit put $425. Like I said, I don't even know who the guy was, but I would thank him if I could. So I'm so thankful and so excited that that's there. So I just want to share that with you guys. And now I'm just mumbling because I'm really excited. So I'm going to get back to doing what I need to do. And you guys have a wonderful evening. Enjoy the rest of your day. I know this video is super late and I hope I still get to post it. So have a good day. Bye.